All right, welcome, folks, to just a great topic of discussion. I Can Only Imagine hitting theaters, and it is a great, great film. It was such an honor to be able to screen it ahead of time. And ICanOnlyImagine.com is where you can find that information. We have the director on with us, Jon Erwin. Jon, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for interviewing me. And we live to tell great stories. And that's what Andy and I are passionate about. And man, what an incredible story behind a song that so many of us know and love, a song that's made a big difference in my life, but who knew that there was such a powerful story behind the song? And so when we heard this story, we were very much like, how in the world has this movie not been made? And why do we get a chance to make it? I mean, this is the best-selling, most popular, or most played Christian song of all time. And yet, we've all been sort of robbed of the true story behind it up until now. So we were honored to be able to be the ones to bring it to life, and it's just a powerful, true story.
How did you cast? I mean, you go through the casting call process, of course, to find someone. Did you involve Bart a little bit in that to find the right person?
We did. I mean, we have an incredible cast in this movie, starting with Dennis Quaid is iconic.
Tremendous. He's just tremendous in
every, and it gives a great performance. But he was doing films before I was born, and he's been iconic films like The Rookie and The Day After Tomorrow and At the Alamo and on and on and on. Of course, Leachman's an Academy Award winner. Trace Adkins has been great. This is the second time we've worked with him. But really, this movie centers around finding the right Bart. And that was a nationwide search, auditioned, I think, over 800 people, nearly 1,000 people. And I went to, but it's cool how God just provides sometimes. I went to I went to see Les Mis in New York. And John Michael was the understudy to Valjean. But because that vocal is so difficult, it's one of the most difficult vocals on Broadway, the guy that was playing it could only do 3 or 4 performances a week. So J. Michael actually played Valjean about 60 times on Broadway. And just seeing him play that role, he just had this middle American character and grit. Come to find out, his dad's a pastor, and he had seen Mercy Me 3 times as a kid, as a high school kid. And he just did. There was just something special about him, magical about him, and he looked like Bart. So talk about a needle in a haystack, and he crushes it. Best natural instincts of any actor I've ever worked with. Just a real kind of almost Chris Pratt way about him, and yet he has this incredible voice. I mean, just the voice of an angel. So he was a rare find and an incredible person in general, but also an incredible actor, and I think I hope this film is going to be a real launching point for him because he deserves it. I mean, he's great in every way. So finding Bart was really one of the keys to this project coming to the screen.
Jon Erwin's talking with us about I Can Only Imagine, which is hitting theaters, and I want to just squeeze in one last thought here. It's such a story of redemption and the power of Christ. Speak a little bit about that and how you kind of massage that into such a great transition with Quaid's character and Bart's transformation into writing the song.
Well, Quaid, it was interesting when he said, I've never played transformation on film like this before. I've never had a character start at such a dark place and end at this incredibly lovable place. And that's what the gospel does for people. And we look for stories, Andy and I, that are entertaining, that are emotionally relatable no matter what you believe, but that showcase the transformational power of Christianity and the gospel, that this is something that can radically change your life. And it has been for centuries. And so when I was talking to Bart, we were kicking around the story. He and Andy are really good friends, my brother. And there was talks about the movie, and I said, Bart, if I were to put a gun to your head and say, is God real? What do you say? And he said, absolutely. And I said, how do you know? And he said, because of the change I saw in my dad. I watched a monster transform into my best friend, into the man I wanted to become. And there's no other explanation for it except the work that Christ did in his life. And it was the reconciliation of that relationship and the transformation of his dad that inspired one of the most popular Christian songs ever written, and a song that has brought hope to millions and millions of people. So there's such a message there that you're never too screwed up for God. There's no person, that is just beyond God's grace and beyond God's redemptive power. There's no relationship that is beyond transformation. And here's a guy that screwed it up for most of his life, but here at the end, he reconciled with his son and he changed his life, and it inspired this song. And so it's just an incredibly moving story of hope. And that's when I knew I've got to make this movie. I mean, I have to make this movie. What an incredible story.
Did a great job, and it's a great film. I hope people really love it. March 16th, that film drops. I know, John, we have to cut you off and let you go because I know you got something coming right up. And great film, folks. We'll make sure we link to everything, and we sure appreciate your time fitting this into your busy schedule, my friend.
Well, thanks so much. And, it opens nationwide 3/16. So I look forward to everyone seeing it, and we're honored to tell this story. And we'll see you at the movies. Thanks a bunch.